আপনারা দেখছেন ILFL Soccer Night.
And welcome back. Glad you stayed with us. I'm going to take you guys straight back over to the screen just to remind you of the veterans, because we've got so much to speak about there. So going onto the screen, the Premier Division of the Vets, as we mentioned just before, London Tigers beat Aberhani 4-0. Sire Vets drew 1-0 with St Catherine's. Tower Hamlets, defending champions, lost 3-0 against Bowman Masters. And then our new first division, we had Redbridge beat Weavers, lose against Weavers 2-0. Riverside and Mostyn drawing 1-0, and Stepney Legends beating Bondu Vets 4-1. So just before we went on the break, we were just talking about the Premier Division and how Tower Hamlets, shockingly, defending champions, recruit a few players, I heard as well, managed to lose 3-0 against Beaumont. So, I mean, does that tell us immediately that the Premier Division is wide open and it's not Tower Hamlets and Tigers running away with it?
I think with these two divisions split, with the Premiership, I think you're going to get a lot of results. A lot of teams can actually beat other teams depending on who turns up and how they perform. It was classic example is Tower Hamlets Vets. They had a keeper missing, 1-2 missing as well. And Bowman obviously recruited a few more players as the years gone by. They got new players coming in, and they did play well. I think Tower Hamlets didn't play to their full potential, and Bowman Master took advantage. So it's one result. I don't think Bowman Master get excited because they know the other fixtures coming in the later weeks. It will be tough because I think anyone can beat anyone, and which is evident on Thursday.
Which is great, actually, because it opens it wide. I mean, Nanu, I'm going to shoot straight over to you because looking at the first result that we had there from the the first division of the Vets, Redbridge Vets losing 2-0 against Weavers. I mean, there was a lot of promise from Redbridge, wasn't there? Because they're not just a new team, but they've got players from other teams that have sort of come across. So, yeah, disappointing, wasn't it?
There is a lot of promises from a lot of teams. Some teams had a fantastic start, other teams had a good start, and the remaining team, let's just say, they had a very unlucky start. But anyway, so I'll start from the first division. So Redbridge, a new team, a debut team, losing against Weavers by 2-0. That isn't such a bad result for Redbridge. Usually for a debut team, they're not well organised. They go into the unknown. They're all over the place. They find it very difficult to start and get the hang of things, you know. But I think Redbridge got to it straight away. You know, Weavers have really changed their team structure, and they've got some new players, and they seem to be very, very good, you know. The other two teams, we've got Mostyn and Riverside. Those are two debut teams as well. Mostyn did ever so well to score in the first few minutes, and they did very, very well. And I think they controlled the first half of the game. On the second half, Riverside came back. So it looks like...
I mean, that was a game where all 14 players, roll on, roll off, whoever they were, was the first time ever they were playing in this Vets League, weren't they?
They have been watching the games, they've been watching our shows, so they know what to do. So, like I said, this season, most teams, like I said, were well organised. It wasn't like the first season when a new team comes along and then they're not sure what to do, they're not even determine which subs are going to go on and go off, you know, that kind of thing. So we didn't see any of that this season. So it looks like, you know, teams have really, really prepared themselves. Yeah. Going down to Stepney.
Well, what should we say? Say no more.
Bondu,
I mean, as you can see, Stepney beat Bondu Vets.
Before I asked Stepney a question, I thought Stepney, as expected, they did very well. Bondu is a good team, you know, as we know. A lot of players are from the CAG team, which played in the previous season, and they had some really, really good players. I mean, Stepney conceded a goal quite early on, and then they came back to scoring 4 goals and winning by 4-1. They've got some really, really good players. I mean, my question to Stepney, I mean, Tarek is here, is what took Stepney so long to get into the Veterans League? Is it because...
This is for Tarek, just take away. I mean, Tarek, Stepney Legends, much anticipated, and that's just an understatement, so take it away.
It's like the second coming, isn't it? The Stepney Legends, first of all, the name, I thought everybody was called the Legends in this league, by the way. Clearly someone's misled me, so the pressure's been piled on straight away.
We've got veterans, we've got masters,
but mainly
and
veterans.
We've got legends. I think nobody's yet taken old boys, but...
okay, maybe
the first.
Well, we'll see. In terms of why has it taken so long, to be honest, you know, we're still relatively young. You know, I turned 35, I think, first out of the crop of that crop of players, and then Zar turned 35 as well. I nearly turned 36 by the time you guys got your act together this year. But you know, Russell just made it literally. I think Rashid said by
1 week. I think
by 1 week. So the delay worked in our favour. So 3 of those. You know, perceived legends managed to get into that squad. But really, it's just an age thing. You know, we weren't old enough. Every year, I'd have the older players coming up to me and saying, "Are you 35 yet? Are you 35 yet?" And obviously, you know, eventually, I did turn 35.
How did you find the first day, the debut season?
Well, look, I'll be honest here. We, you know, myself, Zar, and a few of the others, because of the gradual kind of disbandment of that, you know, group of players that have been playing together so consistently for so long, we were getting a bit sad. We were missing each other because, you know, I'd decided about 2-3 years ago that I just couldn't play no more at that level. I couldn't commit to that. And a few of the other players have also dropped away. And now we've got so many new players, we're kind of missing each other. So this was an opportunity where we saw we're going to be back together again. And some of us, you know, it was almost as excited as being like little boys in a sweet shop. You know, there was so much anticipation. So it was really something we really did look forward to.
I think that's one of the unique things about it. It's not just about your teammates, it's about other players you used to play against. You never saw for years, that you get to see them. And I think it goes for all the teams, because it's a nice day to see the players you used to play 10, 15 years ago, who we haven't seen for ages, and they're there on the day. So more like a social event. And obviously added on top is playing football, the game you love so much.
That's right.
And I think it's a brilliant...
I mean, when I played Bondi Vets, you know, there was, like you said, there were 2 or 3 CAG players who I hadn't played against for about 10 years maybe. And it was just fantastic, you know, Mash and a few of the others, we were saying hello, and it's got that lovely social feel as well. Of course, the competitive edge is in there, no doubt, and so was the pressure, because when I turned up, I realised everyone was expecting us to wipe the floor with anyone and everyone that turned up.
Those are the reasons why I think the Vets League has been so successful, and every year we're growing with interest and more teams are adding on because of these reasons. It's more of a social, and we get to play football and get to see our friends and other friends that we haven't seen for years, and I think that's one of the reasons why it's so successful.
Tarek, I've got a question. Someone's asked me to ask this question live on air, and they said, right, so you've come back in. Did your debut in the Veterans League consist of the traditional Tarek nutmeg?
Okay, look. Yes, it did. The first goal when we took the lead, it was a nutmeg, and you know, like you say, it's something that I try to throw in as often as I can. Obviously, these days it takes a little bit longer for me to then retrieve the ball after I've nutmegged the individual. But on that occasion, it worked out, and we scored and took the lead. Yes.
Well, I mean, Tarek, it's brilliant to have you guys. I mean, it's brilliant to have all the new teams there, and we hope. I mean, we know from Stepney that there's going to continue to be a crop of generation coming through each year, and so it will be from the other teams. So that's the Vets League for you. The fixtures for the Vets League will be going up on the website very shortly. So do once we're off air, do check out the website, and hopefully your fixtures will be there. I need to quickly cover our games for this coming Sunday. So if I take you straight over to the screen, and you'll see for this Sunday we've only got 1 game in the first division. That will be Bow versus St Catherine's. In the second division, which we've already mentioned, the big game there, Robin Hood Tigers first place versus Beaumont Youth second place. Very big game there. And then we've got the semi-final of the ILFL Challenge Cup. And as we saw in the draw a couple of episodes ago, SCTA have been drawn against Burdett and Weavers have been drawn against Reach Out. Nanu, I want to come over to you for the Challenge Cup, because as we expected, SCTA and Reach Out, odds on to win this. They were kept separate for the semi-final. Are we going to see an SCTA Reach Out final?
SCTA, I'm pretty certain that they'll go through. I mean, they've played Burdett on many occasions, and the results have been pretty much similar. You know, SCTA winning by a huge margin. It looks like Burdett, no matter how many times they play against the SCTA, they never learn. You know, I think they're doing something wrong. They need to change the tactics. I know SCTA had a really bad result last weekend, and the thing about SCTA is that they jump back. You know, you raise the bar and they'll jump higher. That's what they are. So I expect SCTA to go through. Reach Out, it just says, you know, the results they're providing that they should go through. This is my analysis.
Okay, brilliant. Well, I mean, that's the coming Sunday fixtures, but there is another set of fixtures which are most important. I'm going to take you straight over to the screen. The Interleague Champions Cup quarter-final. If I run through the fixtures there, Bromley versus FC Bartlett, Gower All-Stars versus Stepney, MK Galacticos versus Clapton Rangers, Tottenham Phoenix versus London Meteors. Rash, we've got about 3 minutes to cover the Interleague Champions Cup. Tell me, what we're looking forward to.
First, if I can just remind the viewers, this is obviously the Interleague, the Champions Cup. It's made out of four leagues, the winners of cups and leagues. So these are cream of the cream from other divisions. So this is where you want to be playing each season. And luckily for us, we have 2 representatives from ILFL, Stepney and Bromley.
League.
Yeah,
That's what it is, yeah.
That's what it
the
is.
local
So
Champions
luckily
Cup.
for us, Bromley and
Absolutely.
Stepney are still in. So obviously we'll be rooting for Bromley and Stepney, but we cannot underestimate the teams like MK Galacticos, the teams like London Meteors and Tottenham Phoenix, Clapton Rangers, the top of the musical league, London Meteors, who are top of Hackney League. These are tough teams. So best of luck to Bromley and Stepney. It will be tough. You are the best of 8 now, so the games are going to get tougher. If they can manage to get through to semi-final, that'll be a great success for us because it is a very, very competitive league, and that's where I think all teams should be aiming and thriving to get to each season.
Tarek, I've got 30 seconds. So Stepney are in this, are representing ILFL.
Yes.
So just your thoughts on them playing against Gower All-Stars, a musical league.
Well,
league
last year, of course, we reached the final, and I think we were humbled quite dramatically by the London Meteors. And I think, you know, the squad this year is slightly different. It's a hungrier squad, and from what I understand, our opposition is the top of their league. But I'm pretty confident this is a team that isn't going to be complacent on this occasion.
Let's hope so, for the sake of ILFL. Nana, just a quick few words. London Meteors, defending champions.
I think they're going to do very well. This is one of my bet is that they will probably reach the finals again, along with Stepney. I have to give it to Stepney because, like Tariq mentioned, they've come a long way since the previous season, and they reached the finals last season. I mean, this time it is a new, reinvigorated team. So let's see what happens.
Yeah. Let's not forget our Bromley as well, who are representing ILFL. Gents, I mean, that's all we have time for. So those are the ILFL. Rash, did you want to add anything?
I was going to say the fixture to look out for is MK Galacticos versus Galacticos.
Big game there.
That's
big
the
game.
massive game to look
Absolutely.
out for.
So all these games this Sunday. I'd like to thank my usual guys, Rash and Nanu. Tarek, big thank you to you, and Stepney and Stepney Agents for coming down.
Thanks.
As usual, thank you for you guys watching our show. Hopefully we'll have 2 sets of videos for you to watch next week. Thanks to guys behind the studio. Have a good week. Look forward to the Vets on Thursday and our Open League on Sunday. Until then, until next week, all the best.